Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. On this channel, we cut through the hype and the noise, and I give you the non-biased information you can use to hopefully capitalize on the biggest opportunity in history, and that is this current bull run. And guys, in this video, I'm going to dive into the main bullet points of what people talked about and what was significant in the Nashville Bitcoin Conference. And guys, I cannot be more bullish. Now, I'm not a Bitcoin maxi by any means. That being said, I believe if you invest in crypto, you need to understand Bitcoin and you need to understand the big picture. And if you don't understand Bitcoin and what separates it from the rest of the cryptos, then guys, it's going to be hard to be a successful investor because you're going to hear some crazy stuff that people say about Bitcoin. I hear it all the time. It's old tech. It has no utility. It's a S coin, right? Well, guys, if you ever hear anyone say that, I highly recommend you move on and listen to someone else. But anyway, I'm going to go through what Trump said, some of the senators, what Michael Saylor said, Robert Kennedy, Senator Loomis, and give you a lot of alpha. Again, guys, if you're not bullish after you hear me out on this, I can't help you. But before we dive into it, hit that like button. Now, I'm going to go through the bullet points, and if you want to go down the rabbit hole, there's endless information online with like Bitcoin Magazine. Most of it was streamed live. And you can just go down and you can go to YouTube, Google Bitcoin Conference Nashville, and you'll see what I see on the screen. And you can just hour after hour. And I've probably got 15, 20 hours into listening to all that stuff. It's been a phenomenal weekend. I could listen to some of the smartest minds on the planet, forever. That's how you get smart. Be careful who you listen to, guys. I always want to listen to people that know more than me. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. Anyway, let's dive into it. Now, the first thing we're going to talk about is Trump. Now, guys, no matter what, think about this. At a Bitcoin conference, Fox News streaming live, The Washington Post, C-SPAN, and countless other news organizations around the world. That's bullish, and that is going to wake a lot of people up, because when you see world leaders and billionaires talking about crypto and Bitcoin and digital assets, the wealthy people, the whales of the world that have nothing to do with crypto and has thought about it as a scam and has believed the mainstream media, they're going to perk up. And I'm telling you, and this is not being political, but I truly believe it's true. If Trump wins this election, we are going to see the biggest bull run in history across the board. It's not just going to be crypto and Bitcoin. It's going to be real estate, gold, silver, antiques, paintings, you name it, everything is going to explode. And I personally believe it will extend this bull run, and this will be the longest, biggest bull run we've ever seen. All right, this is going to excite everyone. Trump said on day one, Gary Gensler's gone. See ya. I love that. And I don't think anyone outside of some of the woke left likes that man. That will be phenomenal for crypto. Now, Trump also said Bitcoin is not a threat to the dollar. He believes they can work in unison and actually make the dollar stronger. So let's get that straight, because he did say that he liked the dollar, and that was a negative statement. He walked it back. Now, he promised to free up the on and off ramps and give people the ability to guarantee the ability to self-custody in a private manner. Now, a lot of people were talking about especially like Robert Kennedy, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but talked about maybe no tax on Bitcoin. Who knows? But you never know what a politician would do to get more votes. And he also said that he will guarantee and put a bill passed and veto any CBDC. So even if we're going to have CBDCs, it's going to be a long, hard fight 5-10 years from now. So that's extremely bullish as well. Now, Trump also said, look, he wants to make Bitcoin part of America's strategic reserve. And we're going to talk about that a little more because that wasn't just him talking about it or his idea. Now, he also said that he will have a crypto White House advisory board and that his goal is to allow Bitcoin, crypto, and digital assets to flat out flourish. And he wants America to be the dominant player when it comes to crypto. He wants the money, just like the New York Stock Exchange, rules the world in New York. He wants all that here in America. He wants to dominate Bitcoin mining in America. He wants to dominate crypto jobs in America. Now, I can't be more bullish. And I'm telling you guys, if he wins, we're going to see an amazing time to own crypto. All right. Now, we have a lot of people, a lot of senators starting to get on board and understand crypto. That's the big deal. We've got a lot of senators and Congress people. I don't even think they can spell crypto. I really don't. But we have people like Senator Loomis and Senator Scott, which, man, he's my new hero. I like that man. And they talked about a lot of different things. And I didn't know this. Well, anyway, I've jumped up. Let me just say this. There's a good chance that Senator Scott runs our banking committee, and him and Senator Loomis talked about putting legislation in place. And I didn't know this, but the banking committee rules over the SEC, the CFTC, and the FDIC. It rules over all the money, the flow of money. I didn't know that. And they both agree that the SEC has way crossed the line, and they're going to work all of that back. So if Trump gets elected, guys, you're going to see some huge changes. Anyway, almost everyone that was there that works for our government, senators, president-elect, and things like that, they all talked about making Bitcoin part of the strategic strategy for the world. Now, think about that, or for America, not for the world. Now, I just want to say this because both Senator Loomis and Scott talked about a lot of different stuff, and there was a whole section and a lot of keynote speakers from banking, and they talked about what's going on in the global world with cross-border payments and things like that. And I'm here to tell you, you can listen to whoever you want, guys, but when you have the world leaders that actually control what goes on from banking and from our government, talking about if there is going to be a currency that's a world reserve outside the dollar, it will be Bitcoin. And payments will be dominated through Bitcoin, stable coins, and like the Lightning Network or the Bitcoin ecosystem. Now, I know a lot of people are going to hate on that and say, oh, what about XRP? And what about the BRICS token? Well, guys, BRICS just launched its own token, and it runs on Ethereum rails. But it is not going to be the dominant player if we win this election. No matter what anyone tells you. No one on Wall Street is talking about anything outside of Bitcoin and stablecoins. That is where the bulk of all the cash flow of money is going to come from, or are going to flow with. That's the sector. Anyway. Let's see. They talked about mandating. If Trump wins, Loomis wants to mandate the U.S. Treasury buy 1 million Bitcoins. Mandatory. And hold it and never sell it. And also keep in custody the 210,000 Bitcoins that the U.S. government confiscated and already holds. Wants to add to it and never sell it. And she said that basically this is like the Louisiana Purchase Agreement moment. It's going to change the history of the world. So guys, we have to win this election. And they said they basically want to make Bitcoin a strategic reserve and add it to the dollar, back the dollar, and there's 1,000 different ways they can go about that. Now, stay with me because I want to bring up something else to your attention that was new to me. I had never heard, and it's called game theory, nation-state game theory, and that just adds to what I just talked about. All right, next, Michael Saylor is saying conservatively that in 20 years, which, you know, for me is a long time, but for a lot of the young crypto people, not so long. He's saying Bitcoin should easily be at $13 million. And there's countless powerful people saying like $1 million in, say, 2 years, for whatever that's worth. But I really believe once we see all the things that are building right now, all the hedge funds, the governments around the world, you know, the pension funds, the family funds, and all that stuff, once they really start to dive into crypto, guys, it could explode, and there will be a supply shock. If you correct the money, you correct the world. Now, Michael Saylor also has been going around the world, guys. Now, you got to think about this. It's just common sense. Michael Saylor may be the world's first documented trillionaire. And everyone sees what happened to MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy has never been in the ballpark of, say, Microsoft or an Apple. They partner with them and they compete, but they're not on the same financial level. Well, fast forward a couple of more years, guys, and you could probably see MicroStrategy dominate, especially making more profits than both of those companies. People are paying attention. And he's going around the world with the world leaders and the CEOs around the world, and he's laying out a blueprint. This is what works. And guys, it's going to catch on, and I think it's going to be commonplace, even for the mom and pop, say in 10 years, to be using Bitcoin on their books. Robert Kennedy, who I like, and I really believe, even though he's a Democrat, may God Almighty, we're having a thunderstorm. Excuse me. Robert Kennedy may get a position in the White House under Trump. I truly believe that. But anyway, he mentioned, and I find this hard to believe because he's an extremely wealthy man. He said about a year ago he put the bulk of his wealth into Bitcoin. Wow. Just wow. Anyway, there was a big talk about Bitcoin and energy when they were talking about the nation-state game theory, and you got to hear me out on that. They talk about how, and I never understood how when Michael Saylor had been talking about energy, Bitcoin is energy, and energy rules the world and all this. I never really understood it. I'm not going to dive into it. You can go see it on the keynote if you want. But basically, guys, they talk about how positive it is. So if you're into the climate and all that stuff, it's absolutely 100% opposite of what people will tell you. Oh, it's bad for the climate and all that. No, guys, if you understand it, it's the best thing that could ever have happened to the climate, because there's billions and billions of dollars going into Bitcoin mining. And the better that tech gets, the more money they make. And then once we have that tech, we can put it across the board in every different industry. And we are starting to pioneer places that are using volcanoes and nuclear reactors and stuff like that that produce more energy than we possibly need, and they can put it back on the grid system for free. Guys, I'm not really going to dive more into it, but if you really believe that Bitcoin is negative for the climate, do yourself a favor, watch that keynote, or just educate yourself so you don't run around and say things and make yourself look stupid and insult people's intelligence that know what they're talking about. I highly recommend. Now, this is the gist of the nation-state game theory. When they talk about Bitcoin being a reserve asset, you know, they talk about how it can you can print money and buy Bitcoin, and then you can pay down your debt. But the big concept, and there's a lot of pieces, but I want to simplify it. The big concept about that is, and Trump alluded to this as well, but they all are talking about it, is if America prints money and turns it into Bitcoin and puts it on our books in a big way, we are front running the whole world. And if we back the dollar with Bitcoin and have that just like we have a big reserve of gold, it's going to strengthen the dollar. Well, if the dollar starts getting too strong, what do other countries have to do? They have to print money to keep up. So just like now, as bad as the inflation is with the dollar, it's one of the strongest assets in the world because we loan the world money, and to pay us, when the dollar gets stronger, they got to print more money. It's a catch-22. Well, if the dollar gets extremely strong because of Bitcoin, well, they're going to have to print money and do the same thing. Well, the game theory is we're there first, so the whole world will be pumping the U.S. reserves bags. And every day that Bitcoin goes up, we can pay down our debt, the dollar gets stronger, and it just keeps going. It's a phenomenal strategy if it works. But guys, I'm here to tell you, this is only going to work if a Republican gets in office. And I'm not getting political. That's an absolute fact. All right. Now, if you watch this channel, you know I don't ever just tell you what you want to hear. The only negative that came out of the conference was Edward Snowden. And you got to pay attention to that man. He's the original whistleblower. I don't know if y'all all know his history, but the man's very smart and you need to listen to him. But basically his concern is security, right? And he believes that this technology is dangerous, and it is. And if it's in the wrong hands with the wrong legislation, it could just ruin all of us. And I agree with that across the board, especially like the CDBCs. But they can do the same thing if, you know, they have the KYC to a certain extent, make us disclose our wallets and all that stuff. It can still happen. They can track everything we do, as we know. And then another big concern he has is like the BlackRocks of the world who start to take over Bitcoin mining. Now, I think that's a massive hurdle, and I think we will need some legislation to not allow certain corporations to get but so big into Bitcoin mining. But either way, guys, I truly believe that's like a 25-year minimum process for that to ever start to even be a thing. And if you're like me, you're here for the money, and I'm not really concerned about what goes on in 25 years. I'll be lucky if I'm around. I hope I am. I really do. But, you know, I invest bull run to bull run outside of my Bitcoin. I will never sell my Bitcoin. But I really am not concerned about that. But it is something in the back of my mind because all of these projects, guys, have a negative. And if there's a negative to Bitcoin, that's it. Okay, I want to give you my thoughts. Again, I can't be more bullish. I truly believe that if Trump wins in November, Wall Street is going to love it. And Trump already talked about how he's going to open the floodgates of our gas reserves and get gas down. Well, guys, that's how you get inflation down. Everything we do, you go to Home Depot, everything was delivered on a truck or in a plane or something that used gas. You know, if they cut down a tree, it's gas. Everything is gas. So when manufacturing goes down because of the delivery and the cost to manufacture it, well, that lowers everything. That's how you reduce inflation. And people don't know this, and this is really not about Bitcoin, but we have the largest gas and oil reserves in the world. We just don't use it. We make all the other countries rich. But, you know, we have the Alaska pipeline. We have the Gulf of Mexico, which they've shut down like 85% of all those gas reserves. We have a place in North Dakota that literally has like 1,000-year gas supply reserve in North Dakota that can literally fund all the gas and oil needs in America for like 1,000 years, and we don't open the floodgates with that reserve. So anyway, I truly believe once Trump gets in office, guys, they are going to print money because it takes money to start to build our economy. But the difference between who's in office now is if they print $1 trillion, well, they just piss it away. No other way to say it. You know, they give it to other countries, they give it to these, you know, charities and all that stuff, and there's no return on that $1 trillion. If Trump prints $1 trillion, we're going to get like 16 trillion back. So I can't be more bullish. And then with all the stuff they're talking about in Bitcoin and in crypto and the regulation, and if our government gets behind it, woo! I'm telling you, everything's going to take off. Crypto, Bitcoin, real estate, paintings, antiques, pretty much every asset. You want to own some assets, guys. Even if you're not bullish on crypto, you need to own some assets. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to keep up. That being said, guys, I do one-on-one coaching. It's only $250. It's 3 phone or Zoom calls. I think it'll help you out a lot, answer a lot of questions for you. We can look at your portfolio, teach you how to dollar cost average in and out, teach you to take profits, hopefully get you a game plan of when to take profits. Anyway, whether you take me up on that or not, I highly recommend it. It's not financial advice, and none of this is financial advice. But guys, take profits or become the profits. Because I don't care what anyone says. You need to research. Anyone that tells you to hodl past this bull run, they're just really, I think they're very uneducated and they're doing you an injustice. And most people that are telling you to hodl is because they bought one of these cryptos, 5, 10 years ago, and they're hoping they get their money back, and they're trying to talk themselves into, yeah, it's going to come back. It's not going to come back. It's probably going to disappear outside of Bitcoin. Now, there's a few others like Ethereum and maybe Solana and Chainlink and HBAR. But for me, at the end of this bull run, I will not own anything, not a thing outside of Bitcoin. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Share with like-minded people. Hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the unlike button. It's all good. But either way, come back and be part of this community. Because I truly believe, guys, 2025 is what we've all been waiting on. And I'm telling you, if we get the right person in office, woo, we're in for a good time. Take care, guys.